How's it going, guys? And welcome to the showdown between the High Elves led by Lithanar, the Shadow King, and the Greenskins, who are going to be led by the Baconator. So let's jump right into this match, guys, and have some fun. Now, the tail of the tape for the High Elves. In this match, I'm going to be going with a bit of a skirmish build. And I feel like it's pretty much required if you're going to be using a Lithanar, but as such, I do have two groups of Shadow Warriors, and these guys I feel like might have a bit of a niche against the Greenskins, very similar to the Deepwood Scouts. Okay combat stats, 38 melee attack, 34 melee defense, and 32 weapon strength. But on top of that, they have really solid range at 180, and I think they can shoot while they're running as well. So yeah, fire whilst moving, Vanguard deployment, and they do of course have martial prowess. So I have two groups of those. They're going to be here with Lithanar, the Shadow King, and they're probably going to be trying to pick off high value targets. You know, big uns are pretty good, low armor, no shields. We can also go after the Baconator, who of course is always a pretty juicy target for taking down. And they're going to be joined by a mage with the Lore of Light. So we have Nets of Amnitalk, we have Banishment against blobs, as well as Foz Protection. On top of that, we have another little goon squad over here. We have two groups of the Illyrian Reaver Archers, which I do like in the Greenskin matchup. I feel like they trade pretty effectively, and you can see, oh yeah, look at that, some rainbow firepower coming from the Handmaiden here. But the Reavers, I feel like they trade pretty well with most Greenskin Cav, even against big ends, and just give you a lot of battlefield control. So you can see right now we're going to be pushing in, kind of poking these goblins and having a good time. On the far side, Dragon Princes here that are going to be, you know, just used to cycle charge. But again, I do have to be wary because he has Wurzog as well as Foot of Gork. So if he wants to Foot of Gork them, he can. There's nothing I can really do to stop that. Spearmen here, a front line of Spearmen, or I guess an entire line of Spearmen, because obviously I went very expensive. I have some Silver Helms, you know, I have skirmish units. I have a big contingent of Illyrian Reavers who are being escorted by the Handmaiden, which does give them reload. And I think this might be one of my favorite units on the High Elf roster right now. Are the Handmaidens of the Everqueen. They're basically like nobles. They have anti-large, but they don't have the AP in melee. But they like, against the Greenskins, it's so solid because you can pick off high-value targets. You can fight against like Goblin Big Bosses and Greenskin Lords. They're just really cool and very tanky with 64 melee defense. So I accidentally made a bit of a mistake here. I got my Mage with Lore of Light, and I had it grouped in here with my Archers, and I like clicked to attack. And unfortunately, I forgot she was a melee unit, and she just charged in there and is taking a bunch of damage. But if memory serves, I think I do get her away. And for Janet on occasion, my opponent here, he does have Nasty Skulkers and Night Goblins, a very good combination here. Same thing on the other side. He already wasted quite a bit of my ammo, but you can see I'm doing the best I can to focus down those big uns. He's got Morgub's Mage Marauders, two Goblin Big Bosses with Wurzog, which is probably my favorite composition as well. And I love this pick from Janet on occasion. Two groups of Forest Goblin Spider Riders. They're very annoying. They can chase down Illyrian Reavers, and I think Reavers do win in a very long fight. It might be close because they do have poison. I'm not sure, but just a great pick for kind of trolling the High Elves here. An entire line of big uns, which I thought was interesting. I was expecting Black Orcs, but you know, I don't know if I was really prepared for Black Orcs, so I didn't have a ton of like armor piercing, but you know, the big uns are going to be a little bit tricky. They should mow through my Spearmen fast and give them some tools against my large units and Dragon Princes, so I like this quite a bit here. Although I'm more of a fan of Black Orcs. In the back here, he does have two groups of Rustiers, Goblin Archers, and that is pretty much it. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into this match and have some fun. So the Mage of Light looks like she's getting hit with some of these. Are those Fanatics actually blocking her? I feel like she's trying to get away, and the little Goblin Fanatics he threw are blocking them up. But anyways, my Shadow Warriors getting some pretty good, you know, fighting and kiting here. Getting some good shots into these big uns. This one group of big uns over here is actually really beat up. They're at about 40%. But I don't really have much room to run. I'm kind of like cornered here, and there's a huge horde. So this is what I'm talking about. So he used the smoke bomb, which I was kind of expecting here, but here comes the Foot of Gork. So there's pretty much no escape if he has that combination. And here it comes, the Big Daddy Foot of Gork. What does he actually look like? Yeah, he just looks like kind of like a war boss. And here comes the foot just dropping down to these Dragon Princes, doing a bit of damage. It wasn't super devastating. It takes about 8 models and does some okay HP damage, but unfortunately it was enough to kind of you know, put me in bad shape here. And my Dragon Princes are shaken. I am able to get through the Skulkers, but a huge firing line of Rusty Errors and just other shenanigans. And you can see the Dragon Princes just being dragged into the mud by these Gobos and their prison shanks and their schemes and just all that kind of fun stuff here. But as far as the rest of the battle goes, it's pretty back and forth. I do have some my decoy in here, so I summoned my Shadow King decoy, and it actually does mess up with the AI of the computer. Well, they're not computer units, but it does force the unit to attack them, which he then has to give another attack order, which I always thought was pretty nice. In the back, my Reavers are wasting a ton of ammo on these Night Goblins, which is really unfortunate, so I'm just going to pull back here. My Handmaiden is just looking for a target, and you can see we've been getting some pretty good sniper action here on Wurzog, but it looks like, what is that, a Brain Buster? I think he just did that for the staff. Some of the Half Spearmen have engaged with the Goblins, which will be good. Their melee defense is incredibly high at 50, so we should be able to wear them down. Over here on the front line, same situation basically, but these are the ROR Unbreakable Goblins, so they'll fight to the bitter end, which is very unfortunate. And here come some of the Forest Goblin Spider Riders. So I sent some spears to deal with them, but I was hoping he wasn't paying attention, but unfortunately Janet was. In the backs of my silver helms, who I sent around in a flanking maneuver, were able to get some really good value. I rode down the Morgub's Maging Marauders and basically took out the entire contingent, and I was also able to get a decent little charge into his goblin firing line, which also then opened up an engagement of spearmen. So my spearmen came on a bit of a Mission Impossible engagement and got on some of the rusty arrows over here, and are definitely doing good, just kind of mucking them up. But I have to be very careful. The big ones are going to be pretty good at taking out silver helms and those type of units. But basically over here, it's just a bit of a kiting session. It's tough, though, because he's just swarming me, and I'm trying my best to pick off Wurzog and just kind of slow his roll a little bit. But there's the global Wa. So for any of you guys who don't know, the Wa effect, oh, that gives speed too? I did not remember it giving speed. That must be a completely new thing. Did it before? If any of you guys remember, I don't think it did. So it gives him a speed, so he's able to chase me down even better. Melee attack, charge bonus, that is incredibly good. And it's a global effect, so you can see it's hitting every single unit on the map. I think that is a huge buff to the Greenskins, and definitely, I agree with it. I think it's really cool. So here the Shadow Warriors are being chased down. They're starting to run out of ammo, but they did generate quite a bit of value against the Biggins, and they are still faster. You can see picking off some of those guys. But the Biggins with that speed buff from the Wa are able to actually catch some of my Shadow Warriors, which is really unfortunate. On the high ground, you can see Elithanar has taken a post here, and he's trying his best to snipe out the Pig Lord right here. But the Pig Lord, let's see, he's about 1,400 HP, and here comes the Moonbow, if I'm not mistaken. So here it comes. Let's go ahead and get a slow-mo shot of that. The Silver Helms come charging in, and did it make contact? I don't think it did, and if it did pretty minimal damage. My Silver Helms come in as well, and I'm trying my best to just kind of burn down his Lord and get rid of the Wild Hogmaster. In the meantime, my handmaiden of the Everqueen here is going to be riding about, being chased down by goblins, which is annoying. That's a very good smoke bomb by Jenna on occasion there. And I was just trying to like post up and just commit all my resources to taking out Wurzog. You can see I even send him my Lightcaster. I'm like, just take it, bring it down, and we can't. He has 900 HP, and Elithanar is pretty much sitting unimpeded, which is good. And I did commit to a fight with these Forest Goblin Spider Riders with the Illyrian Reavers because I wanted to make sure that Elithanar could sit and shoot. Had he gone over there and kind of tied him up, I wouldn't have any pressure on the Baconator. So Wurzog now has 500 HP. If we take an overarching look, my Shadow Warriors are running, but they're just... I don't have enough stopping power to finish these guys. I feel like losing my Dragon Princes and just, not getting as good of engagements in the front line as I wanted was really tough. And the Forest Goblin Spider Riders are now supported by 41 Biggins. So at that point, I started to lose that engagement pretty bad, and I basically just had to run. Wurzog, however, is taken out. You can see that he's broken, 300 HP. And the Handmaiden of the Everqueen, for some reason, these goblins are shaken. It looks like they're in a decent situation. But she's going to run over there and chase off Wurzog, which is really good for me. And it kind of opens a bit of a way for me to get back into this game. The balance of power is in Janet's favor right now. I'm at about 35-40% there. But Elithanar has gotten surrounded. He does know some karate, so you can see he's doing some tumbling Legolas shots right into the face of those Forest Goblin Spider Riders. And I do have a decoy here, which is going to kind of occupy those guys. And at this point, it looks like Janet's going to be committing most of his resources to take out my Lord, which is definitely a good idea because, he doesn't want to be kited, and I still have some ammunition, I think. Not too much. But yeah, at this point, the Shadow Warriors are going to come in and do a rear charge because, he is surrounding me, so I get a really good rear charge right here, right into the back of these Biggins, as well as some of these lads. And I should be able to break these guys off and free up my Lord. This Biggin, I feel like, yeah, he's... Well, I keep forgetting the shooting... I think it's called, like, the shooting star meme, but he definitely belongs there, flying into the distance. But that rear charge coming in from the Shadow Warriors and the Illyrian Reavers is actually able to cause a mass rout. And like I said, the Shadow Warriors are quite powerful in melee. I think they do have weapon strength in the 30s and pretty decent melee attack. Biggins would obviously win and head up fight, but we do have the leadership going, so we're able to just bust that Greenskin horde there. You can see they're all running. The Biggins are running. All these guys are running. But unfortunately, Elithanar does fall to the Goblin Big Boss. And despite that situation looking pretty good for us, the Greenskins are all retreating. He still has a very healthy group right here of Biggins, and he has a couple healthy contingents. The Rusty Arrows here are pretty much full health, and without Elithanar, it's going to be very tough to take down these Goblin Big Bosses. So that's pretty much going to be GG. So very well played to Janet on occasion. It was fun experimenting with Elithanar, but personally, I don't think he's the way to go in this matchup. As much fun as I had, the Greenskins are just too much of a swarming faction, and playing like skirmishy missile play like that against them, against players who are familiar with that tactic and are going to be bringing low tier goblins to just screen you and waste your ammunition. I don't think it's the efficient way to play, but again, it was really fun to experiment with it and see how it played out. And the Handmaiden was okay. Honestly, I would probably just go with Alariel. I would just cut the Shadow Warriors and just get like a more cav heavy build, maybe get a couple more Silver Helms and just get like a regular Noble. But Elithanar was quite a bit of fun. We still were able to snipe Wurzog and do some decent damage, but I really just think the build was pretty suboptimal, but it was fun to try out. And I love Janet's build. It was solid. The only thing I would change is, but it worked, so I can't really complain much. I just like Black Orcs quite a bit, because in case the High Elves go with like Phoenix Guard, Phoenix Guard, and Swordmasters of Hoeth and White Lions, I feel like having the Black Orcs is safe, because had I gone like just heavy like Hoeth, Swordmasters of Hoeth and Alariel healing them, I don't think the Biggins would have been able to kill them. So, But yeah, ultimately his build worked really well against mine. I don't know if I didn't tell him I was playing Lithanar, so he just did that naturally, and it was really, really solid. So very well played to Janet on occasion. Make sure to go check out his channel, guys. It was definitely quite a bit of fun. He does a lot of great videos. And that's pretty much it for now. So stand by for more videos, guys, and we will see you all next time.